Dear Tesla, as I promised at my service appointment, I am posting this video showing you how to repair your seats. It turns out the seats on the Model X are indeed repairable. You don't need to replace the entire seat if they get stuck reclining. There's a $32 part that you sell. The part is easily installed in minutes and can definitely be done as a mobile service appointment. This can save your service centers hours unnecessarily replacing seats and your customers thousands of dollars. Isn't that great? In case you don't remember me, here's a few things to jog your memory. First, here's the problem I had. The seat is stuck half reclined and neither the hand lever nor the button on the seat do anything. The recline lever has strange slack in it and does nothing. When the easy recline button is pressed, nothing happens. No motor sounds or anything. After charging a 1-hour diagnostic fee of $265, you provided an estimate for the repair. Here's the estimate for $3,300 you provided after that diagnosis was complete. $2,750 for the seat, and another $550 for a little over 2 hours of labor, for a grand total of $3,300. You might remember my confusion about that quote and me asking what part was broken and why you don't just fix that part. To which you replied that the seat had, quote, failed internally and we'd require an entire seat replacement. Of course, I did not approve this repair. We had a follow-up conversation in person when I picked up the car, during which you told me that a cable had broken inside the seat, and again insisted that it couldn't be fixed. That's when I told you I would fix it myself and then send you a video about how to do it so that you could help all your future customers. Your skepticism surprised me, but I was determined to help you. And here's that video. Here's a little montage of how I diagnose things in case you find it useful. Basically, I'm just taking the seat apart and looking for the mechanism that unlocks the reclining latch. Taking the seat apart isn't necessary, but since I had to figure out how the seat works, I had to do this. Ah, there's the latch. If I pull it with these pliers, it unlocks the seat. Now to follow the cable that is supposed to pull it. If you follow the cable, you can locate the part that operates it. This is a view under the seat. By the way, the seat is fully put back together at this point. Everything I'll be working on from this point on is under the seat. This part right here looked to me like it was probably the culprit. A puck with a motor on the side of it, and 2 cables that go into it. One from the manual recline lever, and one to the release latch. Since you designed this car, you already know this, but you call this part the second row, easy entry, recline release actuator assembly. This part is attached to the seat by resting on that little metal flange, and then with a single screw. So quick to pull down to investigate. You can open this puck by removing the 3 little screws, revealing the gear mechanism inside. Plastic gears. I have a suspicion what the problem might be. Here I'm pulling the manual release lever on the side of the seat and confirming with the little wiggle you see there that that's the cable connected to the lever. Alright, let's dig in. This bottom light blue colored gear, the outside edge is driven by the motor worm gear. The white piece is kind of a retainer. It doesn't rotate inside the puck. It helps transmit motion from the light blue gear to the dark blue gear, which pulls the cables. Goodness, it's pretty chewed up in here. That silver gear shouldn't come off. There's been some shearing here. Let's go ahead and fully remove the final gear that pulls the cables. Then we'll have a good look at each of these gears individually. The problem here is clear. The teeth chewed off on the inner gear. By the way, this is a 65 to 12 gear ratio, which multiplies the motor's force by about 5.4. The amount of force that this motor can put through these plastic pieces is pretty amazing to be able to break this retainer. Finally, here's the part that mates with both the light blue gear and the retainer and also performs the pulling of the cables. One mount for one of the gears sheared off completely. The other two mounts are bent significantly. Let's verify that if we pull the cable ourselves, that the seat will unlock and recline properly. Yeah, works fine. Now that the seat is back up again, we can even verify that the button on the seat works and turns on the motor. It does. The problem was just those chewed up gears. So at this point, I'd say we have a definitive diagnosis. We have verified that the latch works, that all the cables are intact, and that the motor works. We have even identified the faulty part in your online parts catalog, as you can see here. Since you're Tesla, I don't need to tell you how to order a part, and many people have made videos about that. But seriously, making a service appointment to order a part is so clunky. Tesla's cool, not clunky. Why not just have a mechanism in the app to order parts? But kudos on the online parts catalog, that's great to have. It would have been so cool if I could just buy these plastic gears. I mean, can you imagine if you could fix this for $1 instead of $3,300? No such luck, but you do sell the entire puck with the motor for $32. I can live with that. Oh, you'll notice the track release actuator on this invoice too. I discovered that that was also broken, but unrelated to this repair. In fact, of the 4 puck actuator assemblies in my middle row, 3 of them had chewed up gears. I think I figured out what's going on. I'd say there are 2 problems here. First, the main problem is that you're running the motor for too long. Watch this. When the blue spindle stop encounters the white retainer, the motor is still straining for almost a second. You'll see the white retainer unseat from the black puck housing and the entire mechanism twist from the force. This is the track release actuator on the right side middle seat, and you've got the same problem. In this case, it is when the motor returns the gears to their starting location. This one is so violent that if you attempt to do this with the metal cover off, all the gears fly out. I had to modify the cover to be able to see what's going on. Same problem. When the stop is encountered, you can see the force is so much that the retainer unseats and the entire puck shudders. So anyway, that's what's tearing your actuators apart and breaking all these seats in the X. You're putting too much force through these plastic gears by running your motors too long. Probably switching to metal gears would take care of this, but I think you also need to recalibrate how long you run these motors. Now let's get on with the fix. Here's the new part. Isn't it beautiful? Now we just need to install it. So there's an easy way and a hard way to install this part. The easy way takes about 5 minutes and doesn't require any understanding of the internals of how these gears fit together. You just replace the whole puck assembly. The hard way is to open up the puck and to transfer the new plastic gears to the old puck that's still under the seat. This way is hard because it does require some understanding of how all those gears go together. It's a bit of a pain to get the cables seated in the puller gear. I confess, I decided to do it the hard way because I already spent the time to understand the gears, and because I wanted to show that the only broken part here is just these plastic gears. I'll also show in a minute how to do it the easy way on the bench, but you can see me here fiddling with the gears and cables while I do it the hard way. Alright, looks good. Cables are installed and the retainer is seated properly. Now we just need to put the cover back on. And now the easy way. So how to install this part and connect all these ends properly. Over here, this end you'll follow to a little black plastic box mounted under the seat. That little black box is a cable coupler. If you open that up, you can swap out the existing cable end from the old part for this new one on the new part. Here's what a cable coupler looks like that we'll use as an example. And this is actually the best way to install this other end as well. On this side, you can open up this coupler and integrate with the existing seat parts here. These couplers are actually a pretty clever way of connecting these parts and make replacing this actuator really simple. Almost like your engineers designed it this way. This cable end just pops out. This new coupler itself, as well as the two long cables coming from it, you won't need anymore. Now imagine that this is the old coupler mounted under the seat. You'll just pop the new cable end into it and close it back up. And now, whether you've done it the easy way or the hard way, you just need to remount the installed actuator puck to the underside of the seat. It rests on the metal flange and is held in place with a single screw. A simple reinstallation. And now for the final tests. Obviously everything works or I wouldn't be making this video, but it is satisfying to show it. So Tesla, there you are, my video as I promised. It's really easy and inexpensive to fix this problem. I'd say that once you're good at this and with the right tools, your mobile technicians can do this in half an hour. Replacing an entire seat for this is so incredibly wasteful. And this is totally inconsistent with Tesla's branding. You have a lot of customers who like your brand because they think of Tesla as an environmentally friendly company. Being so wasteful as to replace entire seats for these actuators is potentially a customer losing repair and certainly erodes your brand. In spite of this, I'm a Tesla supporter. I've been a customer of yours for almost 10 years. I sincerely hope that this video finds its way to somebody at Tesla who can help you do better.